Hello, welcome back everybody. This is Space Engineers Permadeath Survival, the longer weekend edition. We got a really good start last time. We actually sent a probe down towards the centre of the planet. It's called Jules and it's right there 1.12 kilometers down and making its way further every minute. So we're going to let that get down to the centre, and then what we're going to do is take a little trip out into orbit and start marking up our enemy bases from orbit by lining up their markers with Jules, or with the GPS point that I'll place in Jules's place, and that should give us a dead ahead view so that we can then drop ordnance from immediately above without risking missing. What we're actually going to have to do as well is, I said that we we're going to wait till nighttime to do some painting, sorry, till daytime to do some painting around here. I'm actually not going to wait. We may need to adjust it if it looks rubbish when the daytime comes, but we're just going to very quickly finish welding up the few little bits that I missed around this base, and then what we'll do is we'll just have a go at giving it an overall general coat of paint, and we'll just do a little bit of fine detailing work. Now we do have the paint gun mod installed. That's one of the only helpful ones that we have, and that's just simply to get over the fact that it's virtually impossible to paint after you build using the normal paint tools, because they're very broad strokes. You can't paint under something if there's a tiny thing covering it. Paint gun gets around all of that. You have to make paint chemicals, so it does have consumable items associated with it, so it's not like free to use. So it's a bit more realistic, but you can basically paint anything you can point it at. Right, so what we're actually going to do is we're going to mass paint all of this a particular colour, and then we are going to detail it. So let's pick a colour that we like for the whole base. Now, the whole place is kind of sandy. I kind of want something that matches along with that, but I don't want something that's too like the sandy. So dust armor might be kind of cool, but I think we make it white. I want the space easy to see for me, so we do it like that as the main color. Might be a bit much. Kind of cool, but let's have a look at it from around. It might be a bit too much. No, I don't think it is. It kind of looked cool when it was dark, but we can put some nice dark accents in this. Maybe no, let's try a darker color. So this is like the beauty of doing this like after the fact. You get to see how it looks with your overall build. Let's go back to a kind of a grey color. So so you hold Control Shift, middle click. See, that just looks like really grimy and ugh. No, it's too like dirty. I kind of like the. Let's go medium grey maybe, or I'm not going to go black. I'm going to go a medium grey and see if that's just any better than that blinding white. Yeah, that's actually not bad. Right, let's just weld these up and make sure that they've taken that colour. Yeah. I mean, the reason why we're doing a bit of a cosmetics thing is we're waiting for Jules to make his way down to the centre of the planet. It's going to take a while, so we've got plenty of time to do lots of things. I mean, Jules has enough power to last a whole day. That's like a 24-hour day, not an in-game day. Yeah, I'm quite liking this colour. It's going to look like that on the inside as well, though, so we could do some interior paneling, but I don't think it's really particularly necessary. I think it should be absolutely fine. Right, in theory, that's the last block. that we haven't welded up here. We've got a little bit of mess there that I need to tidy up. Doesn't look particularly pretty. I can just put that like that. Just corner it. So I think here what we need are these. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. I'm wondering if it's worth putting a little ladder there so we've got rooftop access quite easily. Let's just do that. So it just looks like a little maintenance ladder, but... Okay, so the next thing we need is paint and a paint gun. So in production, I am actually going to make a paint gun straight away. So we'll put one of those on and we're going to make 2,000 paint. It flies through it and it uses gravel for the paint, which is part of the reason why we haven't been checking out gravel recently. Don't need that. 15k of paint. Loads of the stuff. Right, so first things first, right, to set the paint the way you want it, you hold shift and use your mouse wheel to pick your skin. Now the weapons I want to look kind of pristine, like they're looked after. So I'm going to make them like using the retro future armor there. So I could do like coloured retro future. Let's go dark grey retro future. That looks alright. Now you'll notice that it builds up the colour over time, so it uses more than one paint for each item. So this is going to be like one of our accent colours here. So I'm actually going to do all of this with it. Some of these might be a little lighter than others because I'm kind of whizzing over. But that's kind of fine. Right. I'll have to do the lower floor ones later. I might make one of them like kind of not quite match. So I have slight variation, like manufacturing age. So the first tap will apply the skin for sure, and then the subsequent taps will build up the colour between the original colour and the new colour. Right, good. So that's the outside of that done. I don't need to use that ladder over there to get down. I can just do that. I think we need to paint our rover actually. Let's pick a nice. Let's make this kind of hot roddy. We're going to go with a retro future, but we're going to go kind of a red colour. Like sort of candy apple red. And now I can use the paint gun to add some additional colours. So let's go into yellow. Oops. So go with the kind of Iron Man colours almost. I want to keep those red actually. I think they just look better that way. It's just like accents. You don't want to overdo it really. Yeah, quite like that. It's a bit like garish and ridiculous, but so's the vehicle, to be honest. Yeah, that does it nicely. Right, okay, that's that done. I need to go back into a kind of darker colour with this. Let's do our doors. Right, in that case there I can't reach that one, so... Yeah, I quite like that for windows. And for this walkway, actually. Right, nice. Good. I need energy. So from this point, what we're going to be doing is... Right, now this is going to have to be a bit more fun. So we're going to go plastic for these. Make them different colours. I think so. Blue, yellow, red, green. Not for that table, that's the serious table. Worldless has just a little bit of wear sort of effect on it. It's not ridiculous. The retro future goes quite a long way. You can use it with or without colour, and I think it looks fantastic in the white. Very bright. That looks pretty neat. This corner I'm not mega happy with, but to be honest, I mean, shy of putting a corner below, actually. Not a bad idea. Decompression coming. I think all of this looks just fine. I think we want the silver on these. Okay, so this room is kind of done. I'm not going to leave the floor looking like that. So I'm going to go with, let's say, a weldless one. So this is one of those occasions where the normal tool would not work for that. So if you're not using a paint gun, you kind of have to plan way ahead what your colour's going to be. And that's kind of difficult. Since you have everything together, you might not necessarily decide on the aesthetic and what colours works best. If you start with a colour theme and then build around it, then fair enough. That could work too. Right, we're done in here. It's going to be a lot of little details we'll come across as we go. It's a good opportunity to get the upstairs done so we can get this piping looking the way I kind of wanted it initially. So for this, again, retro future white. Spider attack. There is another spider around, I think. So like getting the right paint on these things can actually make like the obtrusive bits look a lot more acceptable because they kind of start looking more deliberate. I'm a big fan of white builds. You'll see that on my ships quite frequently. I just like the cleanness of it. I mean, unless I'm building like a junker, I do like things to be white. Yeah, maybe we got it. 1.75 kilometers down there so far. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to put the painting gun away for a minute. We're going to sit in our control seat. This is our big control room. We should be using it more. I'm going to get our antenna. I want to make sure we don't lose like track of our thing, because in a couple of kilometers it's going to like be gone. It was really, yeah, it was pretty close. So I'm gonna go into duals, go into control it. I've got a camera here, so I can actually put a camera on our bar. There we go. Now on our bar we can put block tools, drill. Just turn the drills off and so right click drill in. Doesn't matter if it goes a little bit off center, as long as it sort of corrects itself. We're only using gravity to go down, so it should be pretty straight. Let things settle. Get straight again. Okay, we're just giving ourselves a little bit of a leg up there, so we'll turn our drills back on and just leave it to it. Right. So Jules is 1.91 kilometers down right now. It's got a fair way to go still. Let's just take a peek outside. Ah, we've got a door here we've not painted. So let's just take a little look. I think this is looking pretty realistic. It's a bit like silly. Oh, we didn't weld those up. Doesn't seem to matter. Yeah, I think it looks so let's turn our HUD off. As a starting point, that's not so bad actually. It looks realistic. It's like dusty. I think white's not a bad colour. It did look cool in the dark grey all the time, but it was pretty damn hard to see. Right, let's have a look at where his Jules is. Yeah, still pretty centrally down the hole. For those that missed last time, Jules is basically drawn into the middle of the planet because then we'll have a marker that we can use to line up with where we place these. So if we line up that with that, then that will be directly above that. So gravity will pull anything we drop off around here immediately there, which means we can place these a bit closer to the edge of gravity, possibly just outside of gravity, so we can actually drop missiles off outside of gravity, leave them there, and we just need to give them a little nudge in the right direction. Although that could potentially be a bit risky, because if the nudge isn't exactly lined up right either, it's not going to work. Not sure how we're going to deal with that yet. Maybe we could launch the missiles out from there, drop them to this point, and then stop, come down. Maybe. I'd probably feel better about it if it was outside of gravity, so that we could just leave them there. It's a decision we can do. Let's discuss that in the comments, because we're not going to be sending any missiles up today. So in the comments, between all of you, let's try and come to some sort of an idea of, do we make our launch point literally just outside of gravity, so it just needs a gentle nudge to get them going? We can use cameras to line up. Should be a problem, as long as the starting point is exactly above that. Lining up the camera with the middle of that should do the job quite nicely. So do we do that, or do we launch ballistic trajectory, stop inside of gravity, and then just sort of like let the fuel run out and have it drop? It'd be a little harder to coordinate them all, but then there's less risk of us missing. In my mind, they both are overcomable. Have a little chat about that in the comments between you. You know, anybody who's got any insight on this, give a suggestion. We're not using mods, and we want to keep script down to a minimum on this sort of thing. So I want to try not to overcomplicate this. So any kind of just between those two, pros and cons, you know, which do you think is going to be, which would you use? Right. We're killing time while we wait for that to go all the way down. I wonder how long it's going to take. What else do we need to do? I think we need to start actually thinking about designing a missile. Now, you see, the design of the missile is also going to depend quite a lot on... That's the wrong colour. The design of the missile is going to partly depend on which method we're going to actually use. I mean, if I need to ballistic fly it up and then down, it's going to need rockets and stuff on the missile, and it's going to need gyros and all sorts of things to sort of get it into position. However, if we were just dropping the missiles off using our hopper, because now it's got a ton of thrust, it should be able to do it. If we were using a hopper to drop them off, we could just basically have one gyro just to turn it around and point it in the right direction, and one thruster only with a very tiny fuel tank that doesn't need to be very full. And then it can wait as long as we need to wait until we're ready, and it's just a little shove to get it in the right direction. Oh, that missed. Always make sure you highlight in the right block. Okay, lots of talky-talk and not very much action at the moment. Right, pipes. What do we do with pipes? Retrofuture white, wasn't it? We'll leave that as that is. That was pretty neat. Right, were there any other pipies? Oh, there's another door over here. Oh no, it's not a door. I'm being silly. There is a door there though. I'm actually going to make that silver because it's a nice door. Right. Keep those as they are because the interior just looks wrong otherwise. These nice doors, I'm going to make them silver. And the windows. I think that would be a much better look. Oh yeah, that's far less like weird. Yeah, I prefer that. Right, we'll go around and do the other side. Yeah, I definitely prefer that. They're not like yellow hazards because they don't really, they're not like danger, you know what I mean? I think these are just like lane markings. Careful here, we can paint under this, which is something you can't do with the normal paint tool. Just have to be dead careful. That is like, that hinge is what's been making all this noise all this time. Hinge lock is, let's just turn this off. Okay, so this area looks a little bit more purposeful now. I'm going to keep that as that is because it's a walkway. Do like that how that is. That's going eventually. That's temporary, I think. I was 2.14 kilometers now. Quite a long way to go still. So I think what we're going to do now... Oh, there's a block that I haven't done. Interesting. Right. Let's put a little pause on things for a minute. I'm going to get my energy back, and I think we're going to look at getting ourselves a medical room and start working in here. We really can't do anything until we have our marker in the right place. So we have to wait a little while. I could put a medical room up here. It's going to be a little bit more yeah. Medical room up here. Would that just be silly? We've got our survival kit down on the bottom floor, which is a really nice backup, but I think something more accessible, like a medical room, maybe here or around here, would be a pretty decent idea, actually. Okay, we're gonna have to go down. Just one floor. This floor, I think, should be the hab floor because, I mean, I can hide that quite nicely, but all of this as well, I think, doesn't need to be so dusty, but let's go with, let's stick with our light theme because it's really good for like the paint colors. And we're going to go with sci-fi for these bits. And I think we should be, no, it's a bit too much on these. That's quite nice. Floor's still like dead yucky at the moment. That's going to need to be like a bright colour so we can see it. Floor, I think I want that to be weldless. See, all this is totally underground, so we don't really need to even think about like having it dirty and having to paint it the same way, because we just simply aren't bound by the same rules because it's not visible from outside. I can't just do like the mass paint because it might hit something outside where I don't want to. So we're really not far away from the surface. Just covering the bits that we can get away with. I'm going to focus on a floor at a time with all this. Let's go and do ups. Don't change direction very quickly. It's not necessarily a great idea. Right, let's do this stuff here. If there's any blocks that don't look right, I can panel them from the outside if I missed one. That's visible from the outside. That's not though. Neither's that. This slot is visible from the outside. These aren't. There's a few blocks there that I've missed. Don't want to be on that floor. This white's better for lightness generally, because like the light carries around it much nicer. Yeah, that looks a lot nicer, that. Of all the tech hardware looking like that. Right, living quarters here, so we can cut out any of these blocks, it's fine. We're not really at risk of hitting the ceiling from here. And 5 of these out. It's plenty. Now we do need to drill some of that ice out, and we're not going to waste it.
Energy low.
We don't have anything for energy. We'll pick that up in a minute. Well, I think I've pulled that out enough not to be an issue there. I have to be aware that that lot there is visible. That might have been impact, possibly. Can never tell the difference between an impact and a not impact. Okay. That's over. Right, so we're done with windows and stuff for the time being, so we can take all these off here. So we definitely need a bed. I think I certainly want a couch. I'd like the aquarium, actually. I think a kitchen. You should probably have all the things, to be honest. But that's enough for that for now. So colour it the same as everything else. Just grab a few bits here. So we'll start with the kitchen. Now I have to be mindful of what's on the opposite side. So if I put that like that, leave the space afterwards, and we can panel that on the back. So maybe I do that now. This is kind of where
Energy critical.
okay, lovely. Energy's critical, I know. We're going to be okay in a minute. Right, we've got that in there. Bed, I think. It's going to have to be a priority here. Couch will do, actually. Right, so what we're showing there, we're showing a bit of that and a bit of that. That's fine. We're actually going to weld you up. So then I can get my energy. Right. And this is going to be our very simple living quarters, straight off the elevator. I'm not bothered about privacy, there's only me here. I mean, what potentially I could have done is drilled that in even further and sort of extended this floor out a little bit, but I want to try and keep the footprint of this floor pretty manageable. I'd like to put something there just so... Oops. Well, I didn't want to do that. We might as well place those blocks there now while we can. I don't think I have the materials. Let's just place these in here. Ooh. I put doors there to stop me from doing that, and still absent-mindedly walked straight into the damn thing. Right. So back to where we were. We were going to put the kitchen in there, so that's the bed, that's the couch, quote, kitchen. And we don't need to cram it all in one line, but we probably are going to. Good. Kitchen space there so we can get around it. Little bit of greenery. That's rubbish, so we can cover that over. Then we've got our chair. Next to our chair, I want our bed. So our bed has nothing interesting on the other sides. So we're just going to be able to place it straight in there and flank it with something else on the other side. Okay. I don't think we can place just a cryo room straight in there because we've got no pipe in there. So we'll go fill that with the aquarium. Aquarium does look nice when you can sort of see in from that side as well. But that's not really an option unless I place it in that block and put a panel on there, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Just painted something, but it's fine. Nice. Think that's going to look a bit weird with the aquarium. Yeah, that's better. And we're going to panel while I'm carrying steel plate. Panel that space. And you see, this way it doesn't look like we just sort of rammed it all in and didn't have any thought behind it. Gravity components, interesting. I wonder if we... Oh, of course, because if you using a fish tank in space, you want a gravity generator in it, like a mini one. Are we able to make one? Let's have a look at the assemblers there. Gravity components missing. Gold. We actually can't finish our fish tank without gold, which means we need to take a trip to a moon at some point to finish our fish tank. Just looks like a neat little air conditioning box. That's alright. We're not taking up this space here. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to need some lighting in here at some point. We could use inset lights, but what I want to actually do is to put something a bit more manageable in here. Got a view of the elevator shaft side on. No privacy from the inside, you get full view. We've actually given the elevator more privacy than the rest. I'm absolutely fine with that. At least for now. It's a shame we can't finish that. We need some actual gold for that. We're not quite there with it. So, right, let's think about medical room now. We could place one into this space somewhere. But I think it's probably better off on the upper floor to give it actually a purpose. So let's look around here. Right, medical room is going to need access to resources, which kind of makes this, I can see through the windows, kind of makes this quite difficult. We do have a spot there that we could use to bring out, like, piping into here. Let us pop a medical room somewhere onto here. There's an old type which connects top and bottom, and there's the new type which connects slightly more interestingly on the back, but not the top or the bottom. So thinking about how that's going to work, I don't think it's going to go into any of these spaces very well, unless we sort of like use one of the blocks in here as a conveyor block, but that's going to look a bit ugly. So maybe not this floor. I mean, you can't really bring anything in from over there. I could probably bring in one of these off there and put a block here, but it's just going to look a bit of a mess. Let's go down the floor again, see if I can get room to fit it in here. Because we do have what's going on here. If we lose the fish tank, I could probably use this space. Can't build the fish tank right now anyway, so we could put it, we could always put a fish tank over here or something. If we lose this panel, and we panel it from the other side, that's perfect. Just need to create a space that can receive a medical room and not look terrible. It's fine. Right, so now I need to think conveyors here. I don't really want to break that. I just kind of want to bring that conveyor down to that level there. Yeah, sorry this is turning into a decorating episode. It just turns out that we've got to wait a while for our dearest Jules to get to the centre of the Earth, or Pertam. which is more accurate. That's gonna look ugly. Tidy. That looks more fitting of a medical room. I'm not so keen on that bit, but there's not really anything we can do there, so it just is what it is. Right. Where did I stash my med bay? 8. Now it's quite a chunky block, so it's going to cover up that whole corner, but it kind of makes that a little bit tidier, I do believe. Exactly like that. Yeah. Now the advantage of having a med bay, even though we have got like our little survival kit down at the bottom there, a med bay is much more useful. I'll be able to finally get out of this silly ghost suit, which has been doing my head in this whole time because it makes screenshots look really ridiculous. And I mean, I know I can't third person view right now, so I very rarely see myself, but like the welder skin is a bit annoying. And when I do go like admin for the sake of taking dramatic screenshots, it's a bit, yeah. Now we've healed, and that's so much quicker. I like that, and I like this whole white theme. It's just nice. Right, let's do the thing that I've been wanting to do for like since I started and realised what skin I had. Yeah, this ghost gloves thing, especially in yellow. I didn't want to cheat and sort of do it outside of the game because like this is what we started with. Burgundy suit. Like so cheesy. You know what? I'm gonna go proper Englishman here. Tuxedo boots. Oh, it's a match. And where's our tuxedo gloves? They look sweet. Right, so we're in our full tuxedo stuff, but we still haven't done our tools yet, so let's get our tools done. It's a bit odd that you have to go to a medical room to change your tool skin, but you know, I don't think they have a tuxedo welder or anything silly like that, so let's find something kind of a bit nicer to look at. Graffiti. No, let's go golden because it goes with everything quite nicely. Grinders. I do have a golden grinder. Drills. I mean, drills is going to be one exception. No, I quite like that. Rifles. See, why would you want a glow-in-the-dark rifle? It just looks ridiculous. I'm going to stick with my rainbow rifle. I like that. Okay, perfect. Now we're done. Yeah, that looks awesome. I do like that. Right. How much time is it? Still 2.88 kilometers down. Fill me. Fill me. It's not set. Oh, it is. It's set to auto refill. Oh, okay. But we don't have an oxygen tank on board, so we need to put an oxygen tank in the base somewhere just to make sure that we are able to sort of fill bottles on the fly. Do we put them here? Or do we find room down there for some oxygen, for an oxygen tank? I think we only need the one. Or we could just build one in here somewhere. Use that for an oxygen. Oh yeah. That's not a bad idea actually. I wonder if we can have better tools yet. So it's yeah, it's been a little while. I've been a little busy off camera while I was waiting for Jules to make his little trip down. He's currently at 8.26 kilometers down, so quite a long way to go yet. But yeah, a few things occurred to me. Firstly, how much magnesium did we get from that little rover run that we did? Now that it's all refined, we've only got 10 kilos left, which means we've got about enough for 2 warheads, which, well, as you can see by the sheer amount of red around me, that's not anywhere near enough. So we're going to need more magnesium before we can do anything to do with this plan. I've painted, the astute among you have noticed that I've done some painting around the base. We started that a little earlier on, but I've done a little bit more refinement, painted up a few extra bits. So let's just give you a little tour of some of the extra changes I've made around here. So we've got some lights. So this place isn't quite as dark anymore. That's new. I added some of these little conveyor caps onto here, little access ports. We've made a few changes outside as well. So, oh crap. So this is now much tougher floor because these things don't really like driving too much on the light armor. So we used these blocks. What are they? Blast doors. So we use some blast door blocks for these. We've also covered over the hole. I decided to cover it over completely because I didn't think a glass window is going to be such a great idea for driving over. It's probably not going to work out too well in the long term. We've done a lot of the lighting on the inside of here as well, so we've gone with a nice kind of light blue color in there. We've also lit up the little arboretum bit, so we've got some really pretty kind of nice lighting around here, kind of more fitting of what this area is supposed to be. And we've gone kind of moody, sort of like a vaporwave color scheme within the Sci Guys restaurant. So like, how absolutely awesome does that look? Probably give you a headache while you're having your meal, but I think it's pretty damn cool. I probably could do with turning these down a little bit. There we go. Slight reduction of the intensity. It doesn't make a much difference, to be honest, but kind of works well with all of these. That's actually green, but under this light it looks grey. If I put my lights on, see, it's green. That's interesting. At least that works properly in this game. Okay, moving on to the next changes we've made. So yeah, lighting around here. Okay, here, what have we done? Well, we did all this last time, but we've added a bit of colour. We've brought a toilet into here. Toilets are important when you've got daily needs because they allow you to make waste, which you can then recycle. Again, we've tied these up into the doors, so if this area gets decompressed for any reason, it has to be fully decompressed, but if it is, that door should shut so that it can start repressurizing. That's again just in case we get attacked and something breaches the window up there. Going down another level, we've painted up all around here. This looks a lot nicer. Again, we've done the same thing with them. Conveyor capped over here. Moved the oxygen tank from there into this section now. This is all now sealed off. We've got a triple door over here, just for safety. We could do some extra lighting out this bit. Have put in the end. We've doubled up on the oxygen tanks and put them there out of the way. Painted all this up, capped off the ends of these, just so it looks a little bit nicer. Painted up this, filled in the little gap that was around there, and done some work on the drilling rig just to make it look a little more substantial, because beforehand it looked a bit weedy, just a little bit like a hangman thing, and then that coming down. So we've kind of reinforced all of that. It'll also help just in case, it gets hit by something. And done a little bit of extra catwalking there, plus filled in the gaps at the top of the building over there, which we took a little bit of work to get up to, but we've now got a ladder right up to the roof, which is fantastic. We also replaced that end decoy, the one on the corner closest to us, with a turbine. So we've got a little extra power coming in, which is nice. So many doors. Yeah, so this looks like a proper like safe control room now. Downstairs, yeah, a little red streak as well. Downstairs we've done a little bit, not a lot, but just a few little touches here and there. And then you'll notice that we are airtight in here, which means, I mean, I've had that long while I've been waiting for Jules to sort of make some progress. I've reinforced the bottom of there just to make it safe, but we've also completely finished this shaft. Finished and painted. So this is completely airtight now. Put some railings on there just to make sure I don't fall off, because that's what I'd do. There was a hole down here, we filled that in. We've glassed around these tanks. It's not all the way up to the top, but I thought it would just look a bit nicer to have them behind some glass. I did initially intend to try and like airtight this off, but we've also glassed underneath the O2 jets at the bottom just to make sure they are airtight. We've done a bit of digging down here because I wanted to see if that ice deposit was actually here. Spoiler alert, it's not. Every time I got a little bit closer to one of these ones, it would appear up there somewhere. So like we went off on a proper little jolly jaunt up here, trying to chase this deposit. It got to here and it appeared all the way up there somewhere. So it was like, nah, okay. It's just a deposit we've already found and it's just like faking us out. I was thinking, given that the cobalt's 10 kilometers away in that direction, a slight downhill from here, which then becomes kind of level with the ground up there. We could at some point build a train line down here. Maybe. It's just an option. Could be an interesting one. And there's one more thing I want to show as well. Back to the surface. Oof, that's slightly violent. I mean, this just gives an indication of how long I've had waiting for Jules to go that 8.43 kilometers. It should be around 30 kilometers to the center on average. So give or take a little bit of elevation change, but from sea level, it would be 30 k's down. He appears to be going really straight and true. I'll show you how I know that shortly. Okay, we have the Verne Observation Station over here, which is basically a battery that's been set exactly level with gravity. The positioning of this camera is a bit cheeky what I've done here, but this camera, even though it's clearly above the ground, it's that close to the ground that because the way the actual camera works, it doesn't put the camera lens right there. It puts the virtual camera about maybe a couple of inches to a foot below it. If I connect to this and view the camera, we can see through the planet. And we can see, if I zoom in enough, you see how straight that line is that Jules has made. But you can basically see that Jules is making his way very slowly towards the crosshair. He should be at the center when he reaches exactly dead center of that crosshair. That will give us some sort of confirmation. We'd get better confirmation if we placed another one of these stations much further away, but this should be good enough for the time being. So we can chart Jules's progress this way. It's a little bit cheaty, a little bit hacky, but to be fair, I placed the camera in a perfectly legal spot. It's above the ground. It's not my fault the game works that way. So the sun's coming up after a really long day and night of waiting for Jules to slowly progress his way to the center of the planet. As you can see, we've done quite a lot with our time here off camera, just because this episode's long enough already. Next time, We're going to retrofit the hopper for safer space re-entries and go looking for some, hopefully, magnesium and cobalt. We need to make this a little bit more mineable as well. We may end up staying in space just simply because taking too many trips up and down is going to use a lot of the rare ice that we have. We do have an ice asteroid up there, so it's not too big a risk, but when Jules has made his way down to the center, we'll start marking up our enemies before we actually do make our final trip back to Pertam. So there's all of that, and I'm pretty sure plenty of chaos to come, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.